What's going on, guys? 24/7 Tech here, and the Samsung Galaxy Note 20 Ultra just came out, and it looks to be the ultimate smartphone. Samsung has always been the company to throw in a lot of features and also demand a high price tag, and this Note 20 follows the pretty much same strategy as the years before with the Note 20, and it's packing literally everything you could ever imagine for, and it takes a lot of cues from the S20 Ultra and the OnePlus 8 Pro in my opinion. Join me in this video to find out my first impressions of what I think the Galaxy Note 20 Ultra will be like. Please subscribe down below, guys. Every subscriber makes a huge difference. I need all the help that I can get from you guys, so please subscribe to the channel. Also, go follow my Twitter and Instagram. I create behind the scenes content on there, and I also post live tech updates, so go follow them if you want. You can also read my articles that I write on Medium at the link medium.com/@247tech. I write articles about the latest technology products just like my videos. So let's talk about the design of the Galaxy Note 20. It's a very boxy phone for sure. There's a lot of sharp edges and the edges are squared off. The Note 20 Ultra looks really boxy in my opinion. However, there are some curved parts to this phone, like the display curves over the edges. I would like the design personally because it looks like you don't have any side bezel at all. Some tech reviewers and some people don't like this because I just like the flat display, but the curved edges look really nice to make a look that, you don't have any side bezels there. And overall, the front looks really reminiscent of the Galaxy S20. As you can see right here, the S20 looks exactly like the Note 20. And these phones kind of go hand in hand. They look really similar with the hole punch, in the top center with, the curved edges, all that sort of stuff. It takes a lot of cues from the S20 Ultra as well. And when we flip to the back of the phone, the one thing that you're really gonna see is that huge camera bump. So cases are probably going to be much thicker than they usually are for this phone because that camera bump is a lot. It's really big, and I think they need that to make that 50 times zoom, which I'll talk about later in this video. Let's talk about the display on this Galaxy Note 20. So it has a hole punch in the top center, as I said. So, it's a singular camera lens on the top there. It looks pretty nice, and when you're going through documents, it's not like the notch on the iPhones. It's really seamless, and the hole punch doesn't even look like it's there. It also now has a refresh rate of 120 Hz, which is a great feature, and a lot of smartphones are really getting this, and Samsung, of course, is the type of company to add this type of feature. I love the fluidness of the display, and it looks still gorgeous with that 6.9-inch OLED display. At this point, I feel like smartphones are getting too big. Until 6.3, 6.5, 6.7, now we're at 6.9 inches, which is pretty much like an iPad mini at this point, and I think that phones, if this Note 20 Ultra came at maybe a smaller form factor too, it would have attracted a lot more users as well. I like the hole punch design for the display too, and now we have, a fingerprint reader in the display. No Face ID, not all of that stuff. I think you can still use it, but why would you use that when you have a fingerprint, scanner right underneath the display? And the display panel's quality as well is top of the line. Samsung for 5-6 years now have been the best at making displays, and that's why the iPhones use literally Samsung's OLED displays because they're really good. The pixel density is amazing, the color accuracy, brightness, all of that stuff. It's the best in smartphones, and it's the same thing again with this Note 20 Ultra. It's literally tried and true, and Samsung of course doesn't need to change it because it's already perfected. The cameras on the Note 20 Ultra are really similar to the S20 Ultra, and it kind of refines on top of that, and it's kind of, changing some errors that they made on the S20 Ultra. First of all, there are 3 lenses on the back of the phone: a 108 megapixel wide angle lens, a 12 megapixel ultra wide lens, and a 12 megapixel telephoto lens. The front of the camera has a 10 megapixel selfie, shooting camera. It's pretty good, definitely better than some other smartphones that kind of, cheap out on the front facing camera. The zoom on the Note 20 Ultra is kind of, more refined than the S20 Ultra. Now we get a 5 times optical zoom with a 50 times, blended zoom, kind of optical and, software type of thing. The S20 Ultra came with that 100 times zoom, but the actual quality of the picture was so grainy and so pixelated that it didn't really make sense having that zoom anyways. And even though we only have 50 times this time, it's much better, and the quality is not amazing, of course, but it's quite a bit better than the S20 Ultra. You can also record 8K video on this, which is a kind of a gimmick, you could say, because where can you play back that 8K video? The display on the Note 20 Ultra isn't even 4K, and most laptops, desktops, TVs aren't 8K. So playing that 8K footage back won't even really matter, but you can record that on the Note 20 if you want, and this is possible using that 108 megapixel camera since you're packing so many pixels into one shot. One thing that you can do on this camera and also play back on your own display is use 120 FPS, and this is great because you can actually play back on your 120Hz screen. So that's going to be a really smooth kind of shot, and if you're recording B-roll, that sort of stuff, it's going to be so smooth on this phone, and playing it back on that 120Hz screen is going to be amazing, and it's a 6.9-inch OLED as well. It's going to be great. The performance on the Note 20 Ultra is what you would expect from a flagship Android smartphone in 2020. It has a Snapdragon 865 Plus, which is the default processor for a flagship Android smartphone. It's pretty fast. It's even better when you pair with the 12 gigabytes of RAM that you get with the Note 20 Ultra, and you can open a lot of tabs on this phone, play some intensive games, and it'll still do fine. The chip is pretty fast, but it's not the fastest on the market, as the iPhone 11 lineup has the A13 Bionic, which absolutely crushes this Snapdragon 865 Plus. It's much better, so imagine what Apple can do with the A14 Bionic. If kind of performance is your main target about this and gaming is what you want to do, I think this phone is going to be amazing with that 865 Plus, 12 gigabytes of RAM. That 120Hz display makes a huge difference in games that actually support it, of course. The 6.9-inch OLED display, so gaming is going to be awesome. But the performance, if you're a normal user like me, will be completely fine. So Samsung also makes a standard Note 20. That's $300 cheaper than the Note 20 Ultra, which starts at $1,300, and the Note 20 starts at $1,000. Hear me out on why this phone makes no sense in the lineup, and I don't even think anybody should buy it, and it shouldn't exist. So a lot of tech reviewers have been pointing this out, and I think that it's a valid point, saying that the Note 20 packs a plastic back, a 60Hz screen, a less powerful camera system, not even a glass back, so the feel of this phone isn't as good as the Note 20 Ultra. Now, it's a $1,000 phone. It's not cheap by any means. It's not even mid-range. It's an expensive phone. At $1,000, some other phones are a much better value. The OnePlus 8 Pro at $900, much better. iPhone 11 Pro at $1,000, much better. The Galaxy S20, Samsung makes it themselves, is a much better phone. The feel of the phone looks kind of cheap, and it doesn't give you that $1,000 vibe. So if this was a $600-700 phone, you can make a case of having that plastic back. But at $1,000, it's no excuse to have a plastic back. Glass is definitely the way to go. So avoid this Note 20. If you're gonna buy the Note series, buy the Note 20 Ultra. So let's talk about the pricing of the Note 20 Ultra. First of all, this phone starts at $1,300 for 128 gigabytes of storage. You can get 512 gigabytes of storage as well, but you'll be getting 12 gigabytes of RAM on both models, which is pretty good to have. You don't need to upgrade for more RAM. First of all, I think a $1,300 price tag is crazy for a phone. Laptops are considered expensive for $1,300, and this is a phone, keep in mind. I think that this phone is meant for literally the most power user, the one who wants literally everything, and is fine with burning a big hole in their wallet with that $1,300 price tag. And the Note 20 is kind of that phone which aims to become that, kind of affordable, relatively affordable, you could say, at $1,000, but it's not worth it, as I said. I think that Samsung's flagships are way too expensive these days. The S20 lineup starts at $1,000 and goes to $1,400 for the S20 Ultra. The Note 20 Ultra is $1,300. It's getting really expensive, and we're not getting that kind of flagship feel at a lower price range. I think that some companies that really do good in this segment are OnePlus, for example. OnePlus 8 Pro is a $900 phone. For people who don't need that Pro, features, specs, and that sort of stuff, you can get the OnePlus 8 at just $700. I hope Samsung does that sort of thing. They did last year with the S10e, but they don't have it this year. Thanks for watching, guys. Those are my first impressions of the Note 20 and, the Note 20 Ultra. I think that this phone has, everything that you could ever ask for, but it's not the phone that a lot of people should buy. So please subscribe down below if you want more awesome tech videos like this one, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. See ya.